Welcome to the channel that brings you the detailed meaning of the Bible. We're going to cover what love is, its meanings, and its importance. But first, don't forget to leave your like, activate the bell, and subscribe to the channel to receive more content that will build up your life. We hear so much about love, loving others, and doing good. But do we really know what this word means? I'm going to show you the details of this word, and in the end, we'll understand and have a different vision of what love is. We'll also be able to analyze whether we genuinely practice it. Stay with me, and let's dive into this knowledge. Let's dive into the passage from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 to 7, which is considered one of the most profound and beautiful messages in the Bible. Love is everything. The transforming message. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not mistreat. It does not seek its own interests. It is not easily angered. It does not hold grudges. Love does not rejoice in injustice, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. What does it mean for love to be patient and kind? Love is not just a fleeting feeling. Being patient means enduring difficult times with grace, without giving up on the one you love. And being kind means acting generously, even when the other person doesn't deserve it. Think of the times we forgive, help, or offer a smile on difficult days. That's love in action. Imagine how different the world would be if we applied this patience and kindness in our daily lives. Think of the conflicts that could be avoided, the friendships that could be restored, and the relationships that could flourish. Love does not envy or boast. How often are we caught comparing our lives with those of other people? True love doesn't envy because it celebrates the achievements of others as if they were our own. Likewise, it doesn't boast because it understands that everything we have is a divine grace. Imagine a world where everyone celebrates other people's victories without competition. Soccer, for example, is a scenario where we see a lot of this. Players who honor each other, even though they are opponents. This is a clear example of how love doesn't have to be selfish. Love doesn't mistreat and doesn't seek its own interests. Not mistreating is an act of respect. It means choosing words and attitudes that build up rather than tear down. And not looking out for your own interests means thinking of the collective good. This may seem difficult in such an individualistic world, but true love is altruistic. Have you ever thought about how small attitudes can change someone's day? A simple gesture of kindness, like helping a stranger or listening to a friend, can show this kind of love. Love doesn't get angry easily and doesn't hold grudges. We often get stuck in resentments, but love doesn't let itself be consumed by anger. It understands that anger is temporary and that forgiving is liberating. Holding a grudge is like carrying unnecessary weight. Remember, forgiveness is not just for those who have made mistakes, but for those who want to move on. Think about how much lighter your life could be without this burden. Love rejoices in the truth. Love celebrates authenticity. It values justice and repels hypocrisy. In today's society, it's common to hide our faults, but true love invites us to be transparent and seek the truth above all else. In the world of soccer, for example, we see how the truth can unite fans. When there is transparency behind the scenes, teams gain more respect and support. Everything suffers, everything believes, everything hopes, everything endures. This is one of the most powerful parts of the message. Love doesn't give up. It is resilient and believes in the best, even in the most difficult circumstances. When we love, we are able to face challenges with hope and faith. In soccer, we can see this in the loyalty of the fans. Even in times of defeat, they continue to support their teams with passion. This kind of dedication is a reflection of unconditional love. A greater proof and demonstration of love was when God sent His Son Jesus Christ so that He could show all of us in practice what true love is. There's a passage in the Bible that tells us what God did for us. See the passage below. For God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son, that whoever believes in Him shall not perish but have eternal life. John chapter 3, verse 16. I'm going to show you God's love for us next. The heart of God's love. God didn't just talk about love. He acted in a definitive way. By sending Jesus, he showed a love that is pure, unconditional, and eternal. This act was more than a sacrifice. It was the essence of love in its purest form. Think about it. God didn't just choose the good or the righteous. He sent Jesus to everyone, regardless of our faults. This love reminds us that we are accepted and loved, even when we feel we are not worthy. Jesus, the perfect Lamb. Jesus came into the world with a clear mission: to restore the connection between God and humanity. He did not live as an earthly king, but as a humble servant. His words and actions reflected the unconditional love of the Father. He healed the sick, fed the hungry, and offered forgiveness to sinners. Each miracle was a demonstration of God's love in action. Jesus didn't just talk about love, he lived it. The meaning of the cross. Jesus' crucifixion was the culmination of this love. He bore the weight of the world's sins, facing pain and humiliation, so that we could be reconciled with God. The cross was not a symbol of defeat, but of victory over sin and death. At the darkest moment, when it seemed that all was lost, Jesus declared, "It is finished." This declaration was not a cry of defeat, but of mission accomplished. He gave us the opportunity to start again. The impact of the sacrifice. Through Jesus' death and resurrection, we were freed from the chains of sin. He opened the way to a full and eternal life. This act of love reminds us that we are not alone, that there is hope, even in the most difficult times. Jesus' sacrifice also calls us to love as he loved. The cross teaches us about forgiveness, compassion, and sacrifice. How can we reflect this love in our lives? The resurrection, the victory of love. Jesus' story doesn't end at the cross. His resurrection is proof that God's love is stronger than death. He won so that we could live with hope and joy. The resurrection invites us to look beyond life's difficulties, trusting that, just as Jesus overcame, we can also overcome our challenges with faith. The call to love. When we understand God's love through Jesus, we are challenged to live that love in our daily lives. This means forgiving those who have hurt us, helping those in need, and living with a generous heart. God's love transforms us and enables us to transform the world around us. Imagine how different our families, communities, and even the world would be if we reflected this love. The story of Jesus is the greatest proof that love is the most powerful force in the universe. His sacrifice on the cross and his resurrection give us hope, purpose, and new life. How about reflecting on how this love can impact your life? Let us know in the comments how this message resonates with you. And don't forget, God's love never fails. And now, can you understand this love? Can you practice it and multiply it? To love is also to be empathetic, in other words, to put yourself in the other person's shoes and try to understand them. Have you ever practiced empathy with your neighbor, with your family, friends, neighbors? Have a think about it and leave it in the comments. Here's a summary of the text. This passage from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4-7, shows us that love is more than words or emotions. It is a choice and an attitude that can transform the world around us. Applying it in everyday life is a challenge, but also a privilege. How about reflecting on how you can practice this love in your daily life? Leave your experiences or opinions on how love can transform the world here in the comments. And don't forget, love never fails. If you liked this video, leave a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Let's spread this message together.